Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another tournament stream. It is day 3 of 4 days of the group stage. And we are just almost halfway through the tournament, actually, already. After the group stage, obviously, there will be another stage, which will then determine the first rankings of the tournament here. And so far, we are still on that group stage, where it's very important to rank beneath the top 4 of all the teams in order to get to the next stage. Yeah, we still have a bit more time, so everything's still relaxed here. I will just already get a few things running, open the game, etc. I mean, we've had an issue with that in the past already. But okay, game is running, and yeah. Good that I'm early because I'm on the wrong account. Also, I'm not following BPS today. I would have loved to follow BPS again. Sadly, Wargaming did not give me the BPS team to follow, but rather the Jones team, which will also not be bad because Jones team is also super strong. And we can expect some top-notch gameplay here. I will just quickly change my account and then I will actually just let you have a look at what games are awaiting us. Honestly, I don't know myself, because I was only told like shortly before the stream that I'm actually not on the BPS, not streaming BPS, but rather the Jones team, because there will be BPS versus Raid, which will be streamed by German streamer Rip, as he does not stream any other teams. So yeah, okay. I should have said I'm not going to stream anyone else but BPS. But I'm fine with streaming another team here. I mean, Jones is certainly also just on the same level, at least. I mean, Jones has beaten BPS on a last tournament, and it will still be very hard to beat Jones then for BPS later on. But for now, it is just a group stage of round robin, so everyone plays everyone. All the teams play each other once, and after that, a ranking is set up, and the top 4 will get to the next stage. Then the first one will play the 4th one, second one will play the 3rd one. So it's a little bit interesting in that regard. So which teams rank where? I think most teams have their rankings, or they know already if they are going to be in the top 4 or not. But still, they will be interested in just getting a good ranking then for the next tournament, for the next stage. I mean, not the next tournament. Okay. I'm seeing some Russian there, but yeah, please only English on the chat here, so I'm not able to understand otherwise. Okay, yeah. So, all right, let's just have a look. Okay, finally my account is logged in here, and now I will just have a look at what games are rating us. That can be looked up on the World of Tanks Blitz website. But for whatever reason, it makes me want to go for NA. I'm not on NA. I want the EU server. Let's just change over to the desktop so you can see what I'm doing. EU, please, and we will just go for tournaments over here, and then we are going for First League Championship matches, brackets. Where was it? Brackets, I think. No, brackets is the ranking, first of all. It will also be interesting to have a look at Like, Jones is currently second, or actually on the same rank as Serenity. I think Serenity and Jones will still face each other, and the winner of that match will then, obviously be on top of the list. BPS still at the same place as Raid here. It will still be very interesting for BPS today as they are going to face Raid. The other BPS team sadly did not manage to get into the top 4, and they are unlikely to get there at this point. But it looks like we are going to see Serenity, Jones, and APA, Raid, BPS all have the same amount of points right now. So those teams will still have to give their best. Everyone has to give their best, but especially Nose. Okay, we do not have the 8th. We do have May 7. Here we are. Yeah. So, our first match, IPM, will be Jones versus APA will be our second match then. APM Jones, there. Jones versus the second BPS team. And it would be great if the BPS team actually won this game to just get the main BPS team into a better ranking. But it is not about that. It is not about that. It's all about this BPS team showing their best. And Jones, they have an edge over them when it comes to the experience. I would not bet my money on BPS, although I'm rooting for them. But it will be very difficult for BPS to win this, yeah. And yeah, this will be our first match. Second game then will be APA versus Jones, and this will be very close, I guess. If APA loses this and BPS wins against Raid, then APA and Raid are actually on par on the ranking on the leaderboard. We will still play tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be Jones versus Serenity. There will be Immo versus Raid, BPS versus BPS, and APA versus First, which I'm going to stream, by the way. I was not having a free choice of those games anymore. But it's fine. It's fine. Alright. Let's open the game. The room invite should be there already. Yep. I think, yep, I am allowed to show you the room by now. I always have to wait a little bit because of I am using a 3-minute delay. I'm free to just go for a minimum of 3 minutes of delay. But the room is there 5 minutes before, and we would want to avoid the rooms being seen by any of those teams here. Okay, just noticed something. My screen is at the wrong settings because there is a part cut off because my screen is not 16:9. Okay, let's go down to 1080p. Good, now everything's visible. And yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting. It will be interesting. BPS is readying up with a triple i7 lineup so far. Double 60p it seems. One T100 LT only and the Concept 1B. On the other side we do have one IS7, double object 268 V4. I will just refer to it as V4 to make it easier. Triple 50B. Oh, Jones will go aggressive. But it will be interesting to see if the V4s are actually going to be successful in the current meta. I had my doubt about it, but if you don't know, I did a video on this tank yesterday. After like 10 games of playing it. And I just felt like, okay, this tank is good, but I'm just getting penetrated quite often. It's not going to change too much. And then I played it on a stream. I now have almost 100 battles in the last 2 days already. And I just had absolutely horrible teams. It was a disaster. My win rate is as bad as on no other tank on this one. But I still think like it is a good tank, and I can imagine it being useful in tournaments, but I don't really know if the 268 V4 would actually be better than a 60 TP. Yes, the Alpha is quite similar, yet it does have 800 hit points less. So I don't really think that the V4 is actually better than a 60 TP for tournaments. But we will see how it is actually going to be used here. Yeah. Oh, why is the in-game audio actually so loud? Let's turn that down. It's way too loud, okay. Okay, let's head up. Go up. Alright. Here we are in the game. Sir Mufasa, the caller of the BPS team, heading towards the middle here with his IS-7. He is spotting up the Jones team as they rotated up. BPS rather focused on the, well, not really the city. They are just very passive, split out. And they're already going for a move here, moving upwards. Yet I don't know if they are able to push in here in the current situation. Mufasa is getting focused down here by the Jones team. But it looks like BPS would also be able to go aggressive there. It will be the question now if this actually is turning out in a good way here for the BPS team, as they have not really found any weak spot to push onto yet. Whoopsie here, possibly misplaying by pushing behind all of the BPS team. No, it is Peter actually getting focused down first, as Jones had triple T100 up here, going in right behind the BPS team. And BPS is suffering here. They lost 3 tanks already. Money is going down as well, which leaves only 3 tanks alive for BPS. The only one shot on the side of the Jones team is last AFK, who is down there, not dangerous to anyone and not really possible to shoot for the BPS team. Whereas our last guy standing, last man standing is Alfio Jones here. Playing against his previous clan, apparently. Alright. The push from BPS just seemed to come a little bit too slow, as Jones was just gaining an advantage earlier on by killing Sir Mufasa here. There was actually a bait, but the reaction of BPS just came too slow. The setup of Jones just being way faster. Let's quickly have a look here. Why is it so loud? Okay. Also, I want to quickly change my volume. Okay, just 1 second here. Headphones were turned up way too high. Alright. Yeah, Triggerman just asking, BPS second team. Yes, this is not the main team of BPS. There are currently 2 BPS teams in the tournament in the top 8. Both of them really deserve their ranking or their place there where they are. So just putting them off as second team just comes short of the skill that they have and the level that they are on. Okay, that was just meant to be on the other side. Because I actually forgot to put the stream link on Discord. I still have a second for that, it seems. Good. Alright, Levinix, говорите по-английски, пожалуйста. I don't speak Russian and none of my moderators either, I think. Alright. Where is everyone asking for open charge? Today we're not going to see open charge on this stream, sadly. Not today. He is playing on the other team of BPS. Jones this time very passive here, moving up, and BPS on the hand going more aggressive into the C cap with a lot of tanks here. They are playing double projectile 1 T100, double T100 still over there, so actually triple T100, and double IS-7. We're still on the way up here. And it does not necessarily look too good here for these T100s, as they are getting focused heavily here by the AMXs, who could potentially... Actually, Jones' team is going for full YOLO brawl here into the T100s, who isolated themselves a little bit and just allowed the Jones team to push in with everyone, kill those two tanks real quick. Gaseo here about to get focused down, as well as Elmery over there. Both are low on hit points. Ghosty also very low on hit points. But BPS only having 3 guns left at this point. The IS-7s were just too slow, the T100s too fast, and allowed the Jones team to move in aggressively. BPS has to be careful about not splitting up their forces too much here on those kind of games. Jones is not allowing for any mistakes, as they have the knowledge, the experience, and setups fast enough to quickly move in whenever it is possible. Papa Jordan still alive and going down right now. Jones so far clearly dominating the fight. Lots of guys from Russia. Privyet, privyet. But sadly, I'm not streaming the main BPS team, so there is no Ufprijaj on the stream. But Jones is ranking even higher than BPS at the moment. Therefore, don't expect poor gameplay on this stream. Absolutely not. Jones certainly is one of the favorites for winning this tournament. Among the main BPS team, APA also did a really good job so far. Raid, I cannot really judge on Raid as I have not seen them recently, but in the past they were also super strong. So it is still very close, and it is very important who is winning those games here. And we do have another map right now. It is Winter Malinovka this time. And we will have different kind of setups maybe. Jones seems to like these V4s. They actually have a lot of those tanks. 3 V4s here. I don't know if there are even more of those. Maybe they're just flexing. I don't really know. As I already said, I cannot really say whether the V4 is actually outperforming a 60TP in tournaments. I don't really see it being that much better. DPM is a little bit better, obviously. But on the other hand, like, the versatility just lags behind, as it does not have a turret and a rear-mounted gun, which can be quite annoying, but the V4 is super hard to penetrate. But it is interesting to see that Jones is actually experimenting with those tanks right now. So far it works out. And BPS is going for slightly lighter setups. Or not necessarily on the first one, they were not. But on last game they were going for a lighter setup. It did not work out for them. They struggled to fight the heavily armored V4s and find good opportunities for pushes, as they just put themselves into 2 aggressive positions. which does not work with that kind of setup if you're not able to gain any advantage by that. Striker here already losing 600 hit points on the crossing. He tried to defend the B cap. Jones though, Jones going super aggressive here with Elmery. Jones sneakily getting behind the 60 TPs, and they will really be in struggle right now as they are just getting crossfired by the T100 from behind. This T100 here will probably change the game for Jones at the early stage here already, and Turbofaser is already down, but so is Ventrix here. Let's move up over there. Here is where the fight is right now. Papa Don Jordan here with his AMX 50B going for Gasio, but also going out right now. 2 guns off the field for Jones, and BPS already lost 3 tanks here. Hit points highly in favor of Jones already. Super aggressive, super decisive gameplay here by the Jones team. They are not allowing BPS to mess around. BPS is still trying to go for more positional gameplay, trying to gain a map advantage by just covering the map, but Jones is not allowing for that. They are just quickly showing who is the one to beat here. They don't mess around. Absolutely not. That was quick. That was super quick. The move from Elmery Jones here, really deciding the game very quickly. He probably did not even that much damage as he just did not have any time to farm. But BPS just could not react to this move anymore. They would have to push forwards, but it was not really possible for them. 3-0 here for the Jones team already. BPS now going for a quintuple T100 light tank lineup, double AMX 50B. The mobility has to do it for them right now. Jones going for triple V4 again, 1 T100 only, double 60P, actually double LT here. But will this be enough? Will this be enough? This change here for BPS, it actually went for a third AMX instead. But the AMXs struggle against the V4s. That's a sad truth. That's how it is. The V4s can just, yeah. I mean, unless if you're able to circle the V4s with the AMX, you are not going to be able to just easily penetrate the tank. And you are easily getting penetrated. The V4 does not really bounce an AMX. 10 seconds left. Let's see what is awaiting us on this one. I would really hope for BPS to still win at least one more game. And not get into a defeat so devastating that they will lose all motivation to play. Jones here splitting up quite far. WoTB possibly in struggle. Well, struggle. The T100s here of BPS going super aggressive, chasing WoTB, but they are all spotted, and the Jones team will just certainly turn around. WoTB here getting shot down by the T100s in the back. Papa Jordan just going to save, chase WoTB. Man, sorry, I'm struggling to speak today. But the question is whether the 50Bs will actually be able to put in a lot of shots, and that seems to be the case. The 50Bs are just putting in a lot of clips from behind. WoTB still alive, and the whole team of Jones is counter-pushing the T100s. The AMXs really have to move up. Jordan out of the fight. Peter here getting pushed onto by the 268 V4, who just missed a shot, I guess. Whoa, that was way too quick. Will be the question whether Peter is actually going to be able to move out of there. But the main fight is over here. Hit points right now in the favor of BPS. Gun advantage to BPS. It is looking good for BPS here. Elmery Jones going down. Striker about to go down as well. It is 4 versus 3 right now. And it looks like BPS would actually win this one. The V4 here getting circled by RG. That's the big risk of taking these V4s. They are non-turreted and much easier to circle for the T100s than a 60TP, for example. Gazio Jones right now, the last man standing, and he won't be able to do anything about it. Peter just only getting the track shot here, but it will be RG not taking him out. He's bouncing the back. RG, that was on stream. Good job, RG. Someone record it and send him, please. Nice job here by BPS. They finally managed to win a game against these very dangerous V4s and 60TPs. Jones this time not being the one to build up the pressure, but rather it is BPS on this game to go in full YOLO and find an opportunity to put pressure onto the Jones team by just killing Roopsy, who was spotting the medium side quite aggressively. But still, Jones will only need one more win in order to win this encounter. BPS at this point still needs 3 more wins in a row. This game, the previous game, maybe just boosted their confidence a little bit again. But it's not going to be easy for them. They will really struggle here. Jones also going for 50B. No, deciding against it. Not going for the V4s anymore. Seems like the experiment is over. The V4s have not proven to be the most or the best tanks to substitute the 60TPs. Actually, the V4s so far, Jones seemed to like them on this game. Surprisingly, they're deciding against them again. Maybe it was just an experiment, but BPS on the other hand, showing that they also got some of the V4s here. Pay to win is the question. Last game made us think otherwise. So BPS, what are you going to do with the V4s now that Jones decided against them? Also quite a lot of T100 LTs again on the lineup of both teams. Jones having 4 of them, double TP and an AO Max 50B. And BPS on the other side having 1, 2, 3 T100 light tanks. And last AFK is not going for the cap, he's just aggressively spotting over here. Being able to connect a shot onto the V4 and RG losing also a few hit points here. Hit point advantage is already on the side of the Jones team, as they also started with more heavies into the game. The V4s not having the hit points of a heavy tank, obviously. What is not to be doing there? Is he having a disconnect, actually? It looks like not to be disconnected in a very weird position. Uh-oh. He's not... No, he's back. He's back. Luckily, he did not get shot down. He was not spotted. I don't know how he even got there. For a second I was thinking this would maybe be a very weird spotting position. But no, he seemed to have disconnected. Double cap pressure here onto Jones, and Gazio is moving in here. They have found Sir Mufasa down there. How can I jump over to Gazio right now? Let's get over here. Gazio is actually going down first. So Mufasa also going down. But that is a tank traded for each team here. It was not really worth it for Jones not to be moving in here. And in a 1v1 against last AFK right now. Who does have more hit points? That's the question. 900 hit points against... yeah, 700. It does not look like not to be would be able to win this all alone. But also BPS is pushing in over here onto the TP Kinder Buenoso, who is also most likely going down very soon. But BPS losing on tanks everywhere. BPS does not have a lot of tanks left. Money on the V4. Still trying to put in the last shot. Bouncing that one on the 60 DP. And there is only the T100 left alive, who won't be able to do anything about this one anymore. Well, BPS. That was not working out on this strategy. Taking the double caps was somewhat nice for them, but Jones could counter push them quite well, and BPS just probably did not have the tanks to really fight here in the open, as they would have to fight in open terrain. And they just could not really make maximum use of the V4s, I believe. Yeah, V4 bouncing all of his shots here. Second V4 putting in one shot. I don't think that the V4s are the greatest tanks for the current meta. Just thinking about this way, that the V4 does have very similar characteristics than the 60p. Slightly better armor, maybe? I would not say so. I would still say that the 60p's turret is just much stronger than a V4's turret or superstructure. Maybe in the open, it is maybe easier to penetrate a 60p, as you can just hit the front a little bit easier, although it still depends on the RNG that you have there. It's not easy to penetrate a 60p frontally, even if you really aim in. But the hit point difference there, 60p having, let's just quickly look that up. 60p having like 2600 or even more. Let's just have a look right now here. 60p has 2600 hit points. And DPM, that will be a bigger difference, although 2558. And if we are going for the V4, there it is. 1850, so 800 hit points, almost less. And for that, you've got better DPM. How much better is it? 2700, 200 DPM more. But that is also because I'm right now playing the calibrated shells on the V4, as its penetration is really bad. On the TP, I did not have it. I did not have calibrated shells. But I don't really think that this difference there in the DPM and also alpha damage really makes a difference. On the TP, you also have the tungsten shells, increasing the alpha damage momentarily. So I don't really think that the V4 is actually better than the 60p. You could just go for the TP. Let's quickly have a look what the DPM is going to be like with the calibrated shells. 2379. Yeah, then it's a 300 DPM difference. But for that, you've got a tank that does have a rear-mounted gun, which is much harder to make use of. Yes, of course, the armor is quite good on the 268 V4. But the TP is also certainly not bad in that regard. Let's not close the game. We have some time right now, before the next games are starting. I would suggest we are going for a break and can have another look at the games then. Because I noticed on these kind of tournament streams I really need some breaks in between. So that I'm not losing my voice later on. Especially as the second game, I believe, will be even closer and even more exciting than this one. So yeah. Well played to both of these teams, definitely. But Jones just clearly showing that they have just more experience on the top level of tournaments. Their players have all been in a top 4 or even won the tournaments a lot of times, while the BPS team is rather new and the first time in the top 8 with most of their guys. So GG's to them. They did not have bad games here, especially when keeping in mind where they are coming from and where they got. I would really like to see them getting that far in the tournament, even if it is still not enough to win against a team like Jones. Alright, I would say we are going for a quick break of 5 minutes right now. And we will be back then. I will still have another look at the games and just trying to figure out a little bit more how the games could have been won for BPS. So stay tuned for that and see you in a couple of minutes then. Alright, we are back. As we still have some time until the next games are starting, we will just analyze the previous games a little bit and just have a second look there. And just see how BPS could have actually won this. So for that I have opened the stream again. And okay. Oh man, I have so many windows open right now. My my laptop is laggy AF. Let's just quickly relieve a little bit of the pressure here. All right. Okay. Just trying to find the start here. Good. One second. I am almost ready. Just getting my screen brush up on screen so that you can actually, so that I can mark things. Okay, this game here already was a bit of an issue to BPS, as right now the setup is like really looking in favor of the it's really looking in favor of the Jones team, as they can just kill the one tank isolated over there. We can see it clearly on the mini map. Sir Mufasa here, who is in the middle, who was responsible for the spots. I think he was just, look at this. This 60p was lined up there in position to just have shots over there onto the spotting tank, possibly. If Mufasa was able to spot any light tank, for example, over there or over there. But right now, like, BPS had the spots already. So what happened here is just that the Jones 268 V4s just pushed through the middle straight onto the IS-7, who just did not have a lot of backup. The team of BPS was just way slower than the Jones team here, and they were not able to cover that IS-7 like it was needed. Like, they were on the push, they were moving up now, but those guys from Jones are already on a C-cap, could just shoot down onto Mufasa as well. This guy here is still a little bit far away to really help out as much as it was needed. And okay, let's okay. Nice. Yeah, I found a way to hide my YouTube controls here with that on. Now it's a lot better to just analyze this. Yeah, just looking at it at this point here, BPS tried to push in on the top here, but that was just not going to work out. Jones had perfect positions to just shoot down Mufasa down there, and they had some tanks over here to just, yeah, they had good crossfire. It was a really long way for BPS to move in, and right now only Mufasa got pushed onto. I'm just thinking maybe it would have been a better option to not even go up, and let's just go. Let's say BPS decided to just go over here into this area. They are held down here. There is a hill over here, and they could shoot the 268 V4s there. This could have potentially worked out a little bit better. Can I maybe get my controls back? Yes, I can. I mean, the V4s could easily be focused. They had the 50B backup on top of the hill though, which was quite risky, but the V4s could be focused potentially. I'm just thinking that it would maybe have been the better option, because the TP is out of the fight otherwise. This TP still over there is completely out of the fight, can just be ignored by the Jones team. Like this, it just did not work out at all, and somehow it just moved on its own. Yeah, this was not really too good here to push the hill. While the BPS only had 5 tanks available to push the hill, Jones was in good positions. 2 tanks from BPS just stood in the city, were not really helpful in this game. While also, of course, there were 2 tanks from Jones going aggressive down there, but Jones was in a better positions on the hill. So let's go for the next one. And let's just move on a little bit. We don't even need to see the whole thing to be able to analyze this. Next one, BPS tried to do the same thing as Jones did basically. Just look at this right now. BPS tried to go super aggressive on the C side here with a very light lineup. Tried to just secure the C cap. But the big issue here were those 2 light tanks. They were out of position. They did not need to be there where they are. They could also be on the hill behind to just cover this area here. Where they are just... Yes, they are able to crossfire anyone that would maybe decap the C cap. But apart from that, they are just putting themselves into a really tricky position, which is impossible to get out of. Jones right now still moving up the hill, just as these IS-7s who were just way too slow. Maybe it would have made sense in this kind of situation for the IS-7s to just cross through the middle. Because on like this, they just needed way too long. I think they could have, like, as BPS decided to go for such an aggressive strategy, the IS-7s were just too far behind. And yeah, we can now see the huge issue here of the T-100s. They are in a position they cannot run away from. And they would have basically the same spots and the same fire angle from over there. They could still shoot like this. Although it would, they would have to fight the enemies there a little bit more frontally. Was it really worth it going for this spot? I have my doubts about it. BPS could have also gone for the C cap immediately if they did not go for this position. Only if Jones did the mistake of just playing the C side aggressively with their light tanks, which they were not going to do because of the setup that BPS chose there, as it was a counter setup to the light tanks. The projectiles were just meant to just clip out the light tanks of the Jones team. Yeah, but just what happened here was just Jones easily pushing in from over here and over there into the T-100s, and they could not be covered sufficiently. Yes, Jones lost some hit points, but if it were the IS-7s from the BPS team that moved into the spot, then it would not have been bad, because the IS-7s are meant to get focused while the T-100s farm from behind. Like this, it was the other way around. The IS-7s not having the firepower, the T-100s just losing the hit points too soon. And that meant BPS would not win this fight here. Not really any option for them anymore. That's already it for this game, so I guess we can just move on to the next one already. Although we have a little bit more time, but yeah, it's just not necessary to look at the same thing again here. Strategy, the positions of the tanks here, they were just too split up, which was not really helpful. Let's have a look at the other one. Okay, this game here, Jones really did an awesome push here with their T-100. As you can see already, right now, the T-100 over there, oh, wrong button. The T-100 over there already getting behind the BPS team. And BPS was just very focused on the A side here with their lineup and their strategy. Again, like they tried to play different paces. Well, they had actually they went aggressive, rather split out here. That's the issue. The main issue is that those TPs over there, that are just in front of Elmaria right now. They were going so aggressive while the team on the other side was also going aggressive. So that there was a possible weak spot for Jones to push on to wherever they went. If Jones just committed all 7 tanks to the medium flank, they could have killed the light tanks. If they committed all tanks to the heavy flank, they can just kill the 60 TPs over there. And this just did not work out for the BPS team. This turned out to be a huge issue here. These TPs are just getting farmed from behind by that T100 over there. Just look at this pocket here that Jones created to trap the BPS team. These guys are just in horrible crossfire from Jones. So the only option for BPS was to just try to push forwards, but the light tanks are just still very far away from the fight. They're still not there. And the light tanks have to get behind the 268 V4s at this point, otherwise they are quite useless, just pushing in frontally, losing all their hit points. And that's actually also what happened, I believe. Yep, that's what happened. And BPS just lost way too much time there. They are down 2k hit points and 2 tanks at this point. The AMXs in the middle just got focused by Jones actually instead of the TPs, because obviously AMXs are way more dangerous than the TPs. And I was not looking at the setup enough here when I described the thing. But the TPs were in horrible position. The AMXs were in horrible position. The T100s were out of position. Jones just did not do any mistake here on this game by just going that aggressively into the enemies. Okay. So let's get over to the next game already. This one's over basically. This one's over. Beer asking, play for Beer asking, the other team constantly using so many T100s. Is that the Russian influence? Yes, that is probably mostly Uffentrash to blame on for using all these light tanks on the main BPS team's setups. He is mostly creating those strats. He is just having a ton of strats ready. I think there's probably no one with that kind of tournament experience on a very top level as Uffentrash. So yeah, but that is really noticeable when he's talking about strategies, etc. So let's go for the next game here. We still have 2 more games only, and yeah, we still have some more time actually. The games were too quick. And on this one actually, it was BPS going again very aggressively into the middle here. But this time there was a huge difference. They had these tanks over there that were just away from the fight. They were not in trouble like on the previous game. Just think of it how it has been for BPS there. They had 2 tanks in the middle, 2 tanks over there, and 3 tanks in the A-cap. The A-cap just basically costs BPS the game on the last one. This time they are not going to stand around and leave an option for Jones to push in. So they are just going through here. Maybe there should have been 1 or 2 more light tanks already going for this side with the Jordan guy over there. And Whoopsie here suffering a lot. That's exactly the point here of going that aggressive. BPS just wanted to quickly kill this flank here. They had the advantage and it was just the right call to immediately go for him. It was still a bit risky as they just pushed into the enemy spawn quite far. But still they had the 50Bs, triple 50B coming from behind, just putting out a lot of damage there into the back of the Jones team. Although not to be also lost a lot of hit points here. I had not even noticed this. Yeah, but Jones now had to counter push. It was a little bit of an issue here, maybe, that the T100s were still quite aggressive. Of course, they wanted to kill the T100s from the Jones team over there. And right now, it's probably too late to pull back. They just committed already. Jordan is going in already. I think they could have been more aggressive at the very start if they just sent in 2 tanks immediately over here to chase down Roopsy. But right now they just lost a bit of time here and allowed the Jones team to already turn back here. Which means that the T100s probably needed to run away or just hide in this position here. Let all the enemies push onto them, but that's quite risky as the AMXs maybe would not have the DPM to really make up for the losses of the T100s. But it worked out, And we can see here Taylor Swift Enjoyer. Peter struggled still as he was getting pushed onto. He was quite alone over there. But like this, we have the opposite of what happened to BPS on the last game. Here we do have BPS being rather safe. It's not really safe, to be honest. But the T100s are very hard to reach. There is a hill in the middle here, which Jones would have to go over to get to the T100s that are on the right side here. And the 50Bs can just constantly put out all their clips into the Jones team. That was really good here for the BPS team. Really well played on this one. I really like to see this kind of aggressive strategy work out for BPS. Usually they are rather trying to be a bit more safe on their tactics, as they are still struggling to really move up on with the pace of the top teams, as Jones is certainly. On this one, it worked out. Absolutely. Okay, let's go for the next game. We still have like we have enough time for the next game still. Absolutely. So let's skip forward. Our stream is losing FPS, that's not good. I hope it's not too bad. I hope the FPS drop is not too bad. Okay, this one was with a really weird disconnect here of WoTB. I don't know how I even got there into this position. But BPS went for the caps here. And they struggled with the caps. They struggled to hold the caps. As like, yeah, they just had not a lot of map control like this. They were trapped in a very small portion of the map. And Jones had a lot more range to play. They could go for a lot more options here. I already found an option here to go in. The V-Force being in the bag, already BPS had the cap disadvantage, the hit point disadvantage, although getting the caps here. But the IS-7 in the front is completely... Oh damn, that was wrong button. Oh! Okay, back to full screen. The IS-7 here is quite alone. T100s, they struggled to put in a lot of shots over here. I think right now both teams are still very splitted. But it's quite hard to push onto the heavies over here. The TPs. It was possible for BPS to shoot them down, or Gassio got deleted here. But the V-Force are still out of the fight. Just have a look at this. The V-Force back there, they are completely useless here. The rest of the BPS team, if we're only looking at the minimap, we can't really see what's going on everywhere, but the rest of the BPS team is already in the fight. And hit point advantage is still relatively close here. Hit points are neck and neck. And yeah, BPS just needed to get their V-Force into the fight, and they were struggling to do so. They were really struggling to do so. Money over here, we could see he was bouncing all of his shots basically. The object's gun not reliable. Maybe he should have just aimed in a little bit more. It was a close distance. But this was not really working out for the BPS team, as Jones just had really strong heavy tanks right in front of them. It was rather easy for Jones to just counter push here with the heavies first into Sir Mufasa, and then came the lights right after, while BPS just tried to counter push with their light tanks, with the V4s still being behind here. The V4s absolutely did not convince me. I don't know if we are going to see more of those V4s still. I guess some more teams are still going to experiment there. I'm not convinced at all. If you knew my stats of the V4, then you would also know that I just did not really enjoy this tank so far. Like it's so much easier to play 60TP than a V4, and V4 just struggled so often, constantly getting into bad positions. Okay, I mean, just if you really want to see it, I had my most horrible session ever. Some people have watched my stream yesterday, but on the TP, I'm having good stats. TP is working out. 3.9k average at 200 games. That's nice. But then a V4. Where's my V4? That was just horrible. Pain. And today I tried to get the stats up. 58%, 3.2k average. Yesterday I was struggling to get over 50%. So at least something had changed here on the stats. But yeah. This tank just really struggles to get into the fight. Well, we still have like a few more minutes. That's not the room invite that we are waiting for. Yeah. Okay, what to do now? Do I just go for... Let's just go for a game here. I'm usually playing on touch, so I'm a noob on PC, but as we still have... I mean, in 10 minutes the games are starting. Let's go for the in-game desktop scene and just play ratings, and you will be able to laugh about my aiming on PC. And we've got another BPS guy on the other side, also playing V4. And some guy talking stuff here. Oh, frame drops again? What the heck's going on now? How do you guys feel about the V4, if you have it, or if you faced it? Popopania. Let's quickly do something here. Okay. Shot was actually not that bad. Oh. Oh man. It's obvious at this range. I should get just a little bit closer. I mean, this tank is just not good at a distance. I'll just have to get close and then use my armor. Otherwise, it's completely useless. Good. Can I just kill the V4? No, I can't really. So let's just stay here on a chieftain. Put in some easy shots. I don't know. Vickers or Griller? I think, I mean, Griller would be more important, but he's not going to be easy to reach. So I will just shoot the Vickers instead, if I can. Okay. I think I have not bounced as many shots on grills as with this tank, on any other tank. So hilarious. The dispersion sometimes can really drive you nuts. Oh. Oh! A ricochet. Actually, I played a game earlier on this map. And we were 3v1. Enemies had points though. And I bounced a bad shot and we lost because of it. Oh. Trash PC aiming. Only having 25 FPS here on my laptop right now. That's not a lot. Okay. Well, it's not too horrible right now on PC. Although I have like zero experience lately with playing on PC. It's working out. I'm not going for this one anymore. It's so confusing to not have the touch auto aim. Okay, VK just shot someone else. Nice. Go pattern. Please kill him, so I can get back to garage to ready up for the game. Ah. All right, that was acceptable. But my laptop is not really good enough for streaming, or for playing on PC. At least not for playing and streaming. Okay, okay. Maybe I should actually rather go for light tank. Because the streamer's tank has an impact on the position of the spawns of the others. Good, we still have some time. I just made some coffee. I will quickly get that. It will not take more than 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah, Play for Beer asking, why do you have the game on 30 FPS? Because the PC is so busy with streaming. I mean, it works with the highest graphics settings of the stream, of the game, but yeah. It just automatically put the FPS down. Usually 60 FPS should not be an issue, but while streaming it just goes down automatically. And as long as the stream is prioritized there by the laptop, it's fine. Okay, game start in 3 minutes. So give me a couple more seconds, I will be right back. Alright, and we are back for Jones versus APA. APA already played against BPS and they lost against BPS. Jones was beating BPS. Both of these matches were quite obvious. Quite clear winners we had. And on those games we had a lot more light tanks, but right now teams are going full heavy basically, apart from double V4 here on the side of Jones. Okay. Well, I'm interested to see now whether the V4s will actually work out here in that kind of situation. Retro lineup. But APA still has to try hard. For Jones, it is not as important right now to really get through. I mean, they want a good ranking, but APA will have to try their best in order to stay in the top 4. I don't know how APA played on the first game. I could just look that up later on. I will. Jones mostly heading into the park area. APA already got a quick cap here and put a big shot into Gasio Jones, who's now in the B cap. But it will be very hard for Jones to just defend that B cap. But it seems like Jones has a lot more guns available to defend the B cap, sorry, than APA has for putting shots into that area. But WoTB is suffering here, as well as Gasio Jones. Both lost a ton of hit points. This attempt was clearly not working out. It was a horrible fail here for Jones, trying to take that B cap right in front of all of the APA team. WoTB is down to energy one shot. Gasio Jones is also one shot already. This was not working out for the Jones team. APA had a ton of guns available to defend that cap, and there is a push going on. The M60s here from APA sneaking around, yet Cobalt is spotted so that it did not stay unnoticed, and Jones is maybe trying to counter push the B area as they know they have the M60s behind, but I don't think this will work out. I really don't think this is going to work out, as Jones has 7,000 hit points less. They could have potentially just better gone for the M60s behind them, as they were a little bit easier to reach. Emery here still trying to get Jazio out of the way. It is actually Gasio still getting the kill. The main fight is over here in the city, but the main fight is actually decided already. Emery still trying his best. Kinder Buenoso also still quite healthy here. But that's it. That's it for the Jones team. They have lost way too many hit points at the start on their push into the B cap already. And Emery won't be able to do much about this. Now facing 3 full life tanks of the APA team. 9k hit points in total. Still try to go for a kill shot on the mouse, but that would not have saved him. That would certainly not have saved him to get that kill, even if it did not low roll there. Let's see the performance of the V4s. I will really pay attention to the V4's performance here. Not convincing, but not as bad as other heavy tanks here on the field. But those were in the cap, in the B cap. Actually, Ventrex was not. But yeah, I don't know. Jones seems to like them though. Jones seems to like the V4s. They will have to try harder to convince me. And again, a lot of TPs here on the field for Jones. Just the same meta as in the previous season, basically, where we've seen only TPs coupled up with a few IS-7s or M6s maybe, but mainly TPs. And yeah, then VKs right now, they got above the VKs. They seem to not be too relevant. Occasionally we are seeing some of those VKs on the field for any of the teams. But it's mostly not more than 2. I've not seen more than 2 VKs yet, I think. And otherwise it is just the same thing. The V4s, what are they going to replace? The TPs? We've had that discussion earlier. Well, I discussed with myself on a monologue. V4 replacing a 60 TP. Cannot say that it would really be outstanding in that regard. So let's see. Next game, it will be Dynasty's Pearl again. And Jones is going for a similar lineup, 1 less of the V4s. While APA is going for double M6, double IS-7, 1 mouse, double VK72. Looks like both teams are heading into the city this time. But APA will be faster with their IS-7s, I think. Yep, the IS-7s will potentially get into the A-cap again. No, they have spotted the enemies right in front of them. They are stopping here, trying to get out of there. Reaction stopping, Jasio moving forwards, but he will find a lot of TPs right in front of him. He will not survive this A-cap here. He is going to get smacked. That was way too aggressive here on the side of APA. They had the spots already. Still, they went for that aggressive A-cap and just completely lost an entire IS-7 in not even a couple of seconds, but rather a fraction of a second. He should have probably just rather retreated, got out of the situation where he was trapped in. But when he noticed it was already too late, the other IS-7 still tried to stop. But apparently the communication was not good enough to really get rid of this failed attempt here. And Kowalt still managed to reload his clip, put in another few shots into Elmery. Hit points actually in favor of APA still. Gun advantage on the side of Jones. Jones currently having a 1v3 on this side, while Jones over here is clearly going to win against the VK72, who is currently getting bullied by 3 to 4 tanks and is not going to survive much longer. Will be very important for APA to be quick on the kill here of the TP, and it will be a kill very soon. But APA just lost their advantage when it comes to the hit points. Not by a big margin though. But they also have another one shot over here, and now they are 3 versus... Actually, they are 3 versus 3. But reaction, the IS-7 over here is also a one shot, and he will not survive Gasio Jones, who will reload before him. Gasio bounces here. Reaction still putting in the nice shot into Gasio Jones. Potentially even able to put in another one. Yes, he puts in another big AP shot. And Jones now on the disadvantage when it comes to the hit points. Still having a gun more on the field. But the mouse now... yeah, the mouse... I don't see it. I don't see the mouse winning this one. Not having the hit points anymore. I think the mouse was probably just making me assume falsely that APA still had any advantage, any chance of winning this, because the mouse obviously does have a lot of hit points, while not having a lot of DPM, not a lot of firepower. So the mouse was really not too relevant here. And it was more about being able to put out shots than having the hit points on the field and keeping the guns alive, where Jones was just doing a slightly better job, mostly because of the quick kill of the IS-7 at the start of the game. I think the IS-7s definitely had the time to still run out of the middle area there. They did not have to drop into the A-cap. They had the spots in front of them. Although, of course, I, as a streamer, or we here on our stream, do have the information available. We could see the guys getting into the corner to counter the A-cap. The APA team did not have the information about the TPs flanking around from the side. And the IS-7s thought, potentially, that they were only the double VK-72 close to the enemy spawn right in front of them. One IS-7 was still tempted to go back, the other one went forward, and there was just the misplay of the game deciding over the outcome of this one for the APA team. Was still relatively close afterwards, but the team of the APA could not really make up for the losses early on. We will have another map this time. It will be Alpenstadt. And Jones is going for a lot more mobility on this one. Actually, quadruple T100 LT, double IS-7 and another V4. APA on the other side going also for triple T100 light tanks and a Vickers for some additional spotting range. Triple IS-7. So this one is going to be a lot more mobile, potentially going to be a lot more aggressive after some very passive start. I would not expect any of those teams to just immediately push in with that kind of setup that they are having here. Let's see what's happening. T100s moving to the outside on the side of Jones here, getting into the corner. While last AFK is going to provide some spots in the middle. APA also going for the A side. Elmery here going super aggressive straight into the A-cap. This might be a misplay already. This might be a huge issue here for Jones, as Elmery is not going to survive this for too long. Whoopsie also getting shot down already. Whoopsie first one out of the fight, and also Ghosty over here is getting focused heavily. Yennefer actually magically stayed alive on this push. And 2 T100s, actually 3 T100s, just YOLO'd into the entirety of the APA team and really did not find an opportunity to find an isolated target to push onto here. Gassiot still chasing Osiolek over here, but it does absolutely not look good for the Jones team. They don't have any advantage anymore. Gassiot down to one shot. Elmery somehow managed to get out of there. He managed to just get behind the APA team to still put out some shots while staying safe of the enemies. But there he goes now. Elmery's push was quite hilarious to look at, to be honest. Was not looking like that had any chance of, or he had any chance of surviving this. I don't know how he managed to get to the back of the enemies and still survive them. APA just switched the focus to the others. That was not a play on the information here. I was saying it, I was not expecting that kind of gameplay. With the kind of setup that they had here, it would have probably made more sense to just collect some information, I would say. And let the IS-7s push in first, followed by the T100s. Like this, both teams were just rushing into each other. Mainly it was Jones rushing into APA without having any information, any advantage whatsoever. And it was a 1 T100 pushing in alone. I don't know what the heck was going on here. I would not really expect Jones to throw to APA in order to have them in the top 4 instead of some other teams. I don't know. I don't know if they just had a bad game here or if there is something more going on. Not trying to speculate, but that was not what I would expect from a team like Jones. They did not. I don't think I just missed the point of this strategy. That was just a full YOLO strat. Not really having any hopes of winning, to be honest. Like, only if if the whole Jones team managed to find like one guy on the outside, and not more than that, if API split up completely, had the heavies in the city and only the light tanks on the medium side, then Jones could have won this. But you don't gamble on that kind of stuff early on, and these guys know that, I'm sure. I'm sure. Maybe Jones is already in the mood of just not really paying too much attention because it just simply does not matter as much to them anymore, as they are safely in the top 4 and they will probably be on a second rank or a first one. It will be decided tomorrow in the game against Serenity. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Serenity just lost the first game and Jones already knows that they can afford to lose this one and still have a chance for the first rank. But I would not expect those players to throw games on purpose. That was a weird strategy that they just showed to us there. API this time going for a similar strategy than Jones, but they are probably not going full YOLO on this one. Jones on the other side going a lot more passively here. Last AFK staying in the back, spotting up the A area. And he puts in the first shot into the I7. And last now spotted, will rotate out of this. Oh, taking a shot here. Did not want to risk staying in the position to get unspotted first. And it is actually API trying to go for a move on A here, while Jones actually managed to cap the C base already, leaving Jones at a cap advantage. API not really able to create an advantage in BPS, BPS Jones getting into the B cap as well. But they're not trying to capture the base, they are just rather pushing through with Ventrax leading the charge here in his 60 TP. Already having lost half of his hit points. APA at a comfortable hit point advantage actually. Let's have a look here at Ventrax's position and point of view. He lost way too many hit points already. And he's not really looking like he would have a lot of help. Whoopsie, crossing over here right in front of everyone. Taking a big beating. He will be able to hide in this position, but this means that Jones has a ton of tanks over here trapped in a very small portion of the map. APA has a huge advantage already when it comes to the positions, I think. Elmery over there getting focused by Magix and Jennifer. And Elmery not going to survive much longer. While on the other side, IPA still losing another T100. That would have been very helpful to keep alive. Oziolak potentially in trouble here. Ah. Okay. Ghosty spotting up the middle quite aggressively here for the Jones team. And APA is going for a move here with the Yennefer in the Vickers. Going in, going for the Ram. Last AFK, the next one to get focused here potentially. Jones only has 2 tanks left alive. And that does not look like they had a chance anymore. Somehow Jones still managed to cap B. Not necessarily because they had a free option, but rather because APA gave them the option of taking the base, as it was simply not important to them. APA just went for the kills here after not having the cap advantage in the first place. Not the caps were important on this one. Jones seems to not be quite on their level. Next one will not be Alpenstadt anymore, but rather the map Ghost Factory, the new map, newest addition to the tournament. And it is 3-1 for APA right now. They will only have to win one more game at this point. And Jones would still have to win the 3 more. I don't feel like Jones really does have a good day. Maybe they got up with the wrong foot. Maybe they are just not interested in winning this as much as APA is. Because for APA it is important, for Jones it is not. I mean, the setups that they are playing are just still like, that's not like meme setups. That's not like they would purposefully throw the games away. Those are the actual setups. But the way they are playing and the way that they are throwing games here, that's not how I know the Jones playstyle. Danny, I just read your message there, yeah. Have you rushed in? I would have a serious word on that. Like the Jones push earlier, but on tournaments you sometimes can go for such aggressive moves as you can play with the entire team together. On this game though, there was only Elmery pushing in. The rest rather stayed behind. And APA is just already going into the middle of the map here with everyone basically, and I will really struggle to see stuff here. I can just sneakily look through this a little bit. Shots bouncing off of Ghosty. APA is not really finding the opportunity that they hoped for. They could potentially push up here and go for Ghosty from the side. That's actually what happens here, with the T100 getting right behind. I just quickly get down here. And it is Kinderbrunn also getting focused. Nope. Jennifer surprisingly did not go for the kill shot of the TPA. Can I just get down here? Yeah, I can. I can get down. And it is already a hit point advantage of about 4k, 2k for the APA team. Question is, who is going to be better at the focus fire? Right now, the gun advantage is clearly in favor of Jones here. And there are 3 tanks of Jones focusing down Sebul over here. How is it looking on the other side of the map here? Whoopsie is alone against 3. Jones managed to clear the other side already. So actually Jones does have 1 tank more. They do not have the hit points though. And there goes Ghosty, leaving us in a 3 versus 3. It is a 2 versus 3 right now. Jones looking like they would not really win the 4th game either. Ah! Damn roof. Ventrex still trying to run out of the dangerous situation. Leaving Whoopsie quite alone, quite isolated over here. APA has double cap advantage right now. And Whoopsie is not really able to put in any shots from over here. But he is still rather healthy. Going down, avoiding the full live TP to potentially... Yep, he connected his shot onto the VK, making him a 1-shot. But he is not surviving the 60 TP over here, and it is only the AMX played by Ventrex over here. Still, yep, dodging the shot closely. But he, I don't see him winning this. He has no chance of it. He is not necessarily a 1-shot to the TP. To the VK, he certainly is a 1-shot. Points ticking against him. He would have to kill the VK and ammo wreck the 60 TP. That would be his only chance. And I don't see that happening here. Oh, Ventrex getting surprised. Not an Amrek, rather a bounce. And a ram kill here from Osiolak. APA dominating these games quite clearly. Not struggling. APA just going for rather safe pushes. While Jones was risking way too much, losing hit points. Not managing to keep their tanks alive here. This means that APA has won this encounter. That's, I don't know, I think the rankings should already, or should update in a couple of seconds. At least it's not going to take too much longer. It will be interesting to see now how this impacted the leaderboard. Okay, I'm just quickly opening the chart in the background again. Well, APA did a really good job here. Cannot say that of Jones, to be honest. Cannot really say that of Jones. They just, I don't know. They are not on the first place or under the first two with a playstyle like this. And so far they have been doing better than this. The games that I've seen of Jones versus BPS were completely different. So let's see on this one. I don't know if it is updated. I think, yeah, Jones finishing second here. There will be one more game tomorrow of Jones versus Serenity. If Jones wins against Serenity, they would be even on the points. Yet, because Jones won against Serenity, in that case Jones would be on the first rank. There would still be the chance of placing first here for Jones. They have not thrown away their chance. And it looks like BPS actually managed to win the games today. They were playing against Raid. Raid not making it into the top 4. APA were the last win here, just getting into the top 3 closely. There will still be one more game tomorrow. Let's have another look. Like today was 2 or 6. Okay. There's two tours per day, it seems. Alright, so we had BPS, the main BPS team fight first today. That was not too much of a struggle, as first is quite far behind, as you can see here, ranking 7th. So BPS did not really have an issue with this fight. Next, the result against Raid is not in yet. They are still playing, so this is still quite interesting. This is only streamed by German streamer R1B or RIP. So if you want to check that out, it will certainly not be in English. I would have loved to stream this game as well, but this will be still very interesting for BPS. They have to win this. Although Raid apparently lost one more game. And who is Raid facing tomorrow? If Raid and BPS both get a win tomorrow, and Raid would win against BPS today, then BPS would actually not make the top 4, but rather Raid. So BPS really has to win this against Raid. And so does Raid. Raid will also try their best. I will definitely look at those games though. And yeah, for the other teams, I think APA is through. with this. API is still facing first tomorrow. That should not be too much of an issue. I guess the main BPS team should also not really struggle against the second BPS team. And Jones versus Serenity, that does not really play any role for the ranking. I mean, yeah, Jones could still be first and it would play a role for the entry then into the second stage, but it's just not that important here for gaining any for the leaderboard for the other teams here. But this area here, raid BPS, this is so interesting. And also, yeah, I mean, API is true. API could still lose tomorrow, of course. We will see API play tomorrow. But I would really not expect them to lose anymore. Okay. I think that's it for today then. What's the bonus code? What's the bonus code? I already gave away bonus codes. There are no bonus codes anymore today. Although I did not even have bonus codes. What? I did not have any bonus codes. I just gave away some battle pass last stream. But yeah. Okay. I've also not heard anything of any other codes. Just reading Beer's message there. But I will still double check whether there is anything. But no, I would have known if there was any more. If there was any codes so for the streams here. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to smash that like button. If you want to see more of my content, then follow me on Twitch. Usually I'm streaming on Twitch for my regular gameplay, where I'm much better than on PC. Yeah, see you there, hopefully. Otherwise, see you on the next stream or video over here. I mean, tomorrow there will be the next tournament stream again on this channel. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Goodbye.